It's all in the blood, baby. The blood work doesn't lie. You know, you should be getting your blood work checked anyway, but we're in particular today, we're going to be talking and reacting to Dr. Ken Berry. He is an MD and an expert on the carnivore diet. And today he's going to be sharing with us about blood work. And so I'm going to react to that. And let's just get into it and start up.
The carnivore diet is becoming very popular, and many people are considering giving carnivore a try. I thought I'd go over what the carnivore diet can do to your lab work, will do to your lab work, because some of the things it can do are quite surprising. Wait till I tell you what it'll do to your blood pH at the end of this video. I'm Dr. Ken Berry. I'm a family physician, and in my over 22 years of clinical experience, I have ordered and reviewed well over 100,000 lab panels. And so when I talk about lab results and what your diet can do to affect them, I kind of know what I'm talking about. So check this out. First of all, what is a carnivore diet? So a carnivore diet is a diet of animal product foods only, basically meat, eggs with the yolk. You can include seafood in this. You can include crustaceans and shellfish. You can include insects, because they are also carnivore. You don't want to bread any of these things. You want to eat them cooked only in animal fat. So you're not going to cook any of this stuff in vegetable seed oils. But all those things are fair game. If it runs, creeps, crawls, flies, jumps, or swims or slithers, you can eat it on a carnivore diet. Now let's talk about it.
Do you see how simple he's making it right now? So you don't have to, a lot of people just go, all I can do is eat beef. That's just not true. That's not true. You know, and so just know this, any meat will do. All right.
What the carnivore diet will do to your blood work. So we're going to go through kind of the basic panels that your doctor would order, and I'll tell you what effect the carnivore diet is going to have on each of those panels. So first up is the complete blood count. Now, this is checks your white blood cells, your red blood cells, and your platelets. So many people suffer from anemia, either a microcytic anemia often caused by iron deficiency, or a macrocytic anemia often caused by B12 deficiency or folate deficiency. A carnivore diet is rich in all three of those things. So what people often see is that their anemia, as gauged by the hematocrit and hemoglobin, improve dramatically after just a few months on a carnivore diet. Now, the way you're going to test this is get all these labs checked before you start carnivore. And then 3 months after you've been eating a strict carnivore diet, get these labs rechecked, and you'll see that these changes have happened to you, at least in some degree. Next up is the complete metabolic panel. Now, don't let your doctor order a basic metabolic panel. It doesn't check nearly as many things as a complete metabolic panel. The complete metabolic panel checks liver function, it checks kidney function, your electrolytes, and then also your blood sugar. And so on your CMP, you're going to notice, especially if you had fatty liver before, that your AST and your ALT, which are liver function measures, are going to start to return to normal. Now, they may not go back all the way to normal in 3 months, but they're going to move towards the normal direction. If you have chronic kidney disease and you already have an elevated creatinine level or a depressed eGFR, estimated glomerular filtration rate, you're going to notice that these get better. Yeah, your kidney function can actually improve on a carnivore diet. And then you're going to notice also that if your blood sugar's been high on previous complete metabolic panels, that your blood sugar has actually come down. Next is your urinalysis, or UA. This check not just kidney function, but it can check also liver function and other things inside your body as well. One of the main things you'll notice is that your urine's going to be positive for ketones. Now, a lot of doctors still freak out if you have ketones in your urine because they were taught that's a sign of dehydration or infection or some kidney problem. Actually, having ketones in your urines means that you're in a state of ketosis in this respect. That's actually a very healthy, very good thing. Many PhDs and MDs are starting to consider being in ketosis our baseline physiological state. And so it's good.
Now, just to let you know, I have been in ketosis since June. Okay, I check my ketones every day, and I have been in ketosis for 6 months. I'm going to talk about that another time. Let's get
good that you have ketones in your urine. Carnivore diet is going to keep you in ketosis for the majority of each day, just like a ketogenic diet or a ketovore diet will. Next is the lipid panel. Now, the first two markers you really want to focus on. These probably won't be the markers that your doctor focuses on, but your triglycerides are going to come down if they're elevated on a carnivore diet. Your HDL cholesterol is going to increase if it was low to begin with. Many people have high triglycerides and low HDL cholesterol, and they don't know why. It's because you're eating too many carbohydrates. And since a carnivore diet is the lowest carbohydrate diet you can possibly eat, it's going to make your triglycerides move back towards normal. And
the last time when I had mine done, my triglycerides were excellent. I mentioned this in a video that when, by his advice, I was making sure that my triglycerides. Also, when you do go to the doc, you want to get a full blood work. You see what he said? He was talking about how they always give you a simple blood work. So you want to get a much more blood work tests that he recommends.
Make your HDL cholesterol elevate back up towards normal. Now, your doctor's probably going to focus on your total cholesterol and your LDL cholesterol in the lipid panel. About 1/3 of people, when they start a carnivore diet, their total cholesterol and LDL cholesterol will actually go down. About 1/3 of people, their total cholesterol and LDL cholesterol will stay about the same. And in about 1/3 of people, the total cholesterol and the LDL will elevate. And in about 1% of people, the total cholesterol and the LDL cholesterol will elevate a large amount and will make your doctor almost lose control of their bowels. You may be a lean mass hyperresponder in that case. I've got other videos on this channel that talk about cholesterol. If you are in the 1/3 of the population whose total cholesterol and LDL cholesterol go up, then watch my other videos about cholesterol and you'll kind of understand more about what's happening. The next is your hemoglobin A1C, which is a marker of how sticky, how gummed up your cells and tissues and organs are. You're going to notice that your hemoglobin A1C gets lower. And especially if you're pre-diabetic or type 2 diabetic or type 1 diabetic, you're going to notice that your A1C will decrease drastically back towards normal. Many people who have been on a carnivore diet for a year or longer, their hemoglobin A1C is 4.8 or 5.2. Now, if that sounds like numbers, you're like, there's no way I'll ever have that. Stay on carnivore long enough and you will, my friends. Next is a fasting insulin. Now, this is a test that most doctors do not check. But from this day forward, you're always going to politely insist that your doctor check a fasting insulin level on you. It's very important. The vast majority of adults in the United States and indeed in other parts of the modern society, their fasting insulin level is very elevated. Doctors don't know this because they don't check it. Now, like I said earlier, I want you to get your labs checked before you start carnivore. Your fasting insulin is probably going to be elevated at least to some degree. I consider a normal fasting insulin to be anything less than 10. After 3 months of carnivore, when you repeat that, you're going to notice a drastic reduction in your fasting insulin, and that will be protecting you from hundreds of chronic medical conditions. Next is testosterone level, total testosterone. In men, what men have noticed is that their total testosterone after 3 months of carnivore goes up anywhere from 50 to 350 points after just 3 months on a carnivore diet. Now, in women, if you don't have PCOS, because many women can have low testosterone just like men can, you're going to notice a slight increase in your total testosterone. Women who have PCOS, however, actually notice a decrease in their abnormally high testosterone. Next is DHEA. And this is anybody in general who's just overall relatively healthy, but you don't have PCOS, you're going to notice a slight increase in your DHEA level. That's actually a good thing. But in women with PCOS, you're going to notice a reduction in your abnormally high DHEA level. Next is CRP. C-reactive protein. Virtually everyone after 3 months of a carnivore diet, especially if their CRP was elevated in the past, showing that there's some kind of inflammation going on in the body, you're going to notice that your CRP level decreases back towards normal after 3 months on a carnivore diet. Next is the thyroid panel. You need to have your full thyroid panel checked, especially if you have thyroid problems. But what many people notice, especially people with hypothyroidism, they notice that their TSH tends to go down back towards normal, and their free T3 and free T4 tend to go up. In many cases, they're able to take less thyroid replacement medication than they did before they started the carnivore diet. People with Hashimoto's thyroiditis who have elevated TPO antibodies and TG antibodies notice almost without exception that their antibodies, the TPO antibody and the TG antibody, actually go back down closer to normal after 3 months on a carnivore diet. And then finally, your blood pH. You hear so often on the internet from this influencer or that one that eating meat makes you acidic, makes your body acidic, makes your blood acidic. After 3 months on a carnivore diet, you're going to notice that your arterial pH did not change at all. Eating meat does not make your blood more acidic. That is a fallacy. That is a myth. That is a lie that seemingly just will not die.
So the whole thing with him is that when you actually go on the diet, when you actually go on this diet, that it will change you. And I hope that this gives you an idea now more than ever that the carnivore diet is an alternative to get you healthier, wealthier, wiser. And it's actually cheaper than when you buy your regular food. I hope this helped, and that you will be carnivore and you will try it at least for 90 days and see how it goes. Thank you so much for listening.